Greetings and peace. Well, this video I felt inspired to make a little talk. I've been looking at some, well, the world, as anyone who finds these types of videos. It's all like a family of persons that are very keen on, or we all are in this earth together. We all are part of this story, and then there are those who are buying into one or another message or ascribing to one or another creed. But the thing is, no matter what we believe in, what's happening is happening, and pretty much anyone with their eyes open whatsoever, even if just in a simple sense physically, can see that something's tangible, something's coming. Now, I have looked at so many videos of persons over the past few years, and as many of you and all of you who probably are, anyone who's watching my videos probably are people, you know, we're of the cloth, we're the same cloth, so to speak, where we're looking at these sort of things, you know. Look at the Project Camelot sort of stuff, look at the, well, UFO disclosure in general, look at stories and realities of angels and demons and what's going on. What is this reality? What is 3D reality? What is fourth, fifth? What is beyond? What is life? What is existence? What is the universe? Who are we? What are we doing? All this stuff. It is really, I feel, time now coming down to the wire where it's time to really, it's like the earth is giving itself its own judgment now, in that those who really want good and change are going to say, yeah, we are following love, and love requires this to happen for fairness, for righteousness, for goodness sake. And then there are those who follow the giddiness of feeling special and secret and elite and this and that and the other, fear-mongering in general. It's going to be a hard talk to make right now because I'm going to want to say very many things, and I'm going to get sidetracked as I do and make little points within points and almost forget what I want to say and try and come back to it. It happens to me all the time. There's so much, well, when there is so much to talk about, how do you say it and how do you keep it short and concise, knowing that people are going to watch 5-10 minutes and probably turn it off. Some of you are going to go the long run. I try to watch people's videos. Sometimes I'll watch an hour presentation. Sometimes I'll watch someone, you know, just like me, sitting in front of a camera. After 5-10 minutes, I'll go, yeah, I got you. No need even to make a comment. I got you. We see eye to eye, you know, that kind of thing. So I just want to say thanks to people that write comments, not just to me, but, you know, to anyone at all, to give an uplift. Because that's the point of my talk. Right now, you're either speaking or being of the white magic, so to speak, where you're lifting up and looking for love and sharing it, or you're still addicted to conflict and division and you and me and the ideas of this and that, dualities, elitisms, and all these sort of things. So while it's going on, I wanted to mention we have to give things a long look too, and as one of my favorite souls, as I love this guy a lot, the shaman Red Elk. If you haven't seen his videos, type up that guy, YouTube or Google, whatever. He had a great website. He took it down because he was tired of maintaining it, but there's videos of him anyway. But you like him or you don't, but the point is, he reminds us, and he's just one person out of many, reminds us of what is echoed throughout history by real truth seekers and love searchers, is that you have to find it for yourself. It has to be your own. I hate the term blind faith, because then you're just that blind. You look at the Illuminati, I want to talk about them for a second, in secret societies, Freemason, you've heard all this stuff. And it's being more and more evident that these guys are showing themselves off as that. They like to flash themselves with the one eye, and I was just saying to my wife last night, well, if you guys like having one eye, maybe you're not opening the other one. Well, we're talking about the third eye and it's symbolic. No, but in a symbolic way, I'm saying maybe they only have one eye open and they should have two. And that sort of thing. Because I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, well, there's someone that gets a little hint and flash of a presentation, and they themselves, those who are of the dark vibration of fear, they feel it and they promote it to others, and they'll manipulate others by it. I'm afraid and feel this, therefore you will feel it. Or I like the idea that I'm special, and I'm this and that. A real being, there are beings that are higher, more highly developed than we are. They can have a body or not a body. They can be an EBE or they can be an angelic being of light. We can call them many words, it doesn't really matter. But the point is, there are beings higher than us. Those beings would never say, yes, I am your great God and this and that and the other, and do this for me and I'll do that for you sort of thing. Throughout history and throughout the true accounts of real mystics, these beings, when they were bowed down to by people that received their message, if they were beings of light, I'm not talking about the dark ones who like being worshipped. I'm talking about the real beings of light who said, no, don't worship me, worship the light itself, worship love itself. That is the God that we call God. Be as that. It's not to say that there aren't powers and principalities that are actually good. Love is power and principality. Now, speaking of Illuminati, like, people are looking at all this fear-mongering. For me, what bothered me was looking at many videos, and I recently rediscovered the whole Colorado shooting in the theater, the Batman thing. Batman movie premiere thing, whatever it was. Dark Knight Rises. And then someone had put together, and there's many of them, putting together documentaries showing that prior to the actual event, there was a rap video released. I'm not going to mention the guy's name, you know it if you saw it or not. And in it is revealed what massacre was going to happen, and then voila, it did happen. Now, in these music videos nowadays, just for example, movies and music, who are the corporations and persons that own the companies that produce these things? Because you'll see in them their own secret message. When you learn to really look at it, you see their secret messages, their signs and symbols, and their wink, wink, elbow, elbow secret jokes to each other, but they're showing it off to the public. Like, only until recently did people, in a general populist sort of way, have an idea of an eye and a pyramid, and what are these symbols, and what is all this 666 stuff, and what is this and that. But now in movies and music videos, they're shoving it right in your face. And you're either saying, okay, what's that about? And or you have a little knowledge of that, of what that is about, or even a lot of knowledge of what that's about. Or you're totally going with it as if stupidly and blindly, with one eye open, emotionally joining the vibe without even wondering about it. Like, I am sickened. My kids are certainly not going to be watching mainstream television and music videos. If they do it, they'll be doing it behind my back. I'm not going to be a control freak, but what I'm saying is, when I look at the stuff people... Children are just people. They're souls, right, in young bodies, and it is a responsibility for people to protect them. And if you're just letting your kid, for example, or the youth and the next generation coming in, to become the middle-aged, soul-conscious entity of the time, that will keep getting replaced perpetually. But you know what I'm saying? To be that conscious humankind of the time, you have to take some measures to watch what's going on and protect them. Now, someone can make a movie. They could call it what I don't want to make fun of anyone. I don't want to name names. I want it to be self-evident. If they get described, they get described. But someone can make a movie or a documentary and say, oh well, the Illuminati, they're these guys, and they actually believe that it's just astrology or astronomy, it's the sun, and Jesus just represents the sun, and Ra, and this and that, and it's just a repeated story. And the Illuminati, they actually literally worship the sun. Of course they don't worship the sun. It's a sphere that gives heat and light to this planet and to whichever else. It's not that they worship. But that's what I'm saying. If we just take second or third hand knowledge and then say, well, at the first simple, quick and easy definition, oh, that's it, okay, that's it. And then go, ah, God, I figured them out, those guys. Oh, now I'll watch them, those sun worshippers. Obviously, it's a lot more deep. You know, in order to be inducted into Freemasonry or Illuminati, this and that, you certainly have to believe in a God. Even Charles Darwin, and the so-called father of evolution, this and that, he was just an agent for these people, and he very much believed in a God. Rather, there was an intentional seeding that started the thing. But there are lots of lies and deceptions. Now, here's what I came to an idea yesterday that made me chuckle. I said, this is interesting, because those who call themselves the true Satanists or this and that, or the Luciferians and this and that, they actually think that if we take the Garden of Eden story, Lucifer is the freer of mankind, because there was a god, or gods plural, there that enslaved and dumbed down this naked, not quite ape, but this stupid, easy to control whatever, and don't eat the fruit of the tree and the knowledge of this and that, otherwise you'll be in trouble kind of thing. So they actually think that Lucifer freed mankind from slavery. Well, if they actually did worship this Lucifer character, I'm not saying he's real or he's not real, or doesn't represent many entities, or a theme of being or isness. What I'm saying is, to me it was a hilarious irony that if they actually say they follow this individual or individuals or theme of isness, then they're contradicting themselves because they are control freaks. They are going against exactly what they say that they believed in. Rather than saying freedom, now they're all about micromanaging and control. So who is the real, therefore, Freemason is the one that actually looks to free. I'm trying to say too many things at once, and I'm trying to get my ideas out in a concise way. It's difficult when I'm trying to say a lot, as it is for anyone. But it comes down to this: lifting someone up or else bringing them down. There is nothing else. There is nothing else in this whole cosmos. Love is that which uplifts, and evil is that which brings down to try and control. You could put it this way. It's not to say that sometimes love doesn't have to be tough, and not to say that sometimes evil isn't necessary, if you want to call it this, because I'm sure that it is. I will say the truth now, that after not only reading and studying this and that, but actually finding it within myself, I found that the conclusions made by ancient Hindu sages, and Hinduism later developed into and branched off into a part they call Buddhism, but with the ancient Druids, even with the old Hebrew mystics, it doesn't matter. The point is worldwide. The Australian Aborigines, worldwide, African mystics, worldwide, that the same conclusions were found. And that is namely to say, there is the eternal, immortal isness of self, and to be in that, and that is a good, calm, strong, beautiful place to be, a holy place to be. As I said, my wife and I were talking, and I said to her, you know what, the idea came to me that the culmination of mind and the culmination of emotion, where they peak, where they become matured, is holiness. Of course it is. It is in holiness. It is the great maturity that being attains to or doesn't. Now the necessary, and I'm going to call it that, the necessary opposite self, enemy, is that which allows us to come out of this self and explore and do this and that, and gives us the means to not have to be that perfection. And they likened it to a drop of water coming out from the ocean. It is still that water, it is still that ocean, but now it is acting, as it were, seemingly independently. Going out for a while, no one stays out forever, because after a time, and many times, you can't really say time exists in a linear way. You can't even say time exists spirally or folded. It's an isness that is an isness. You can't. Time means nothing. So after whatever period of karmic experiences and this and that, after a time, for a poor word, the individual soul spark entity wishes to return to the safety and the calm of the immovable self. Call it heaven, call it nirvana, call it enlightenment. It doesn't really matter. These are just words and languages we use. But that is the truth. It is an ebb and flow. It is an exhale and an inhale back in. Now, you'll often see that figure 8 infinity symbol. It goes like this. The Christian fish symbol, I was told through secret leaks and this and that, was the fact of now you're on the good guys loop, and after a while you're going to go back to the bad guys loop and dance like this. And that's infinity. Back in the source, out of the source. Well, these are human understandings and limitations, and the soul level that we are within these human bodies, we get these limited understandings. It's like when I'm born and now I'm this guy called Lee. Well, my memory got wiped out when I was born. How much do I put an effort in to remember? How much do I want to remember my isness? How much are you remembering of your isness? People that say no such thing as reincarnation and past lives, they have totally bought into, maybe they need it, the idea that they are that body and they don't want to look at their past. I think that might have to do with the denial. But when the control freaks lie and tell people, you are that body, you're it, freedom from that mortal death is belief in this religion or this and that and the other. A lot of people ultimately think that a lot of these religions are created by dark entities. I don't even necessarily think that that is even true. I think that an idea of resurrection is not about a created idea or an idiom or this, that, or new, this, that, and the other. It's an isness in the sense of resurrecting, coming back into something better. I like what the French philosopher Blaise Pascal had said. And he's a personal friend of mine right now. I chatted with him the odd time. No, he existed 400 or 500 years ago. No, alive right now, and he's a personal friend of mine, believe it. And the fact is, I like what he said, we actually have an embarrassment to be here if we really thought about it, or denial, because we have a memory of a higher self. Now here's what I wanted to throw in. When there is that exhale, that decided upon, agreed upon, because we always have free will. Free will is without a doubt yet. And when we are exhaled, if we recently decide to come back and get conditioned into body forms to resume a training or to begin the process of coming back to enlightenment, then that soul at the initial stages is of course going to be rebellious and giddy, and because it's like they're schizophrenic. It's like they're all, who of us really isn't, if you really think about it though, and in the sense of being a little bit space-whacked, as the word that I just like to call it sometimes. So they're going to be, if you put, let's just, never mind the body, if you put a demon, and you picture a demon as a dark soul, unenlightened, and darkened being, I don't know what words or terminology to use, you'll have your idea when I say that word, but picture let's put it this way, picture a rebellious soul, malicious, unbalanced within, full of fear, causing fear. You put that one in a body to condition him, it's not a him or her, you condition that entity to go back to the light, or they choose to go back to it. At first, of course, they're going to be evil. They don't have a modality that they recognize or remember. They have an idea to get it, but their isness in their heart center is not there. So they will be acting such and such. Oh, it's reptilians, it's this and that. These are all cheesy names. This has to do with name and form. It doesn't matter what they look like. We talk about dark beings and souls that manipulate this planet. But who's to say trillions of whatever, that they don't look like big fat spheres or hockey pucks? I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying though? It's not about name and form. It's either a soul entity vibrating in a balance and in a goodness, or else is regressed from it. We have to understand the universal themes. When we shut our eyes down, we're so, especially in the West, we're so addicted to categorizing form, name, I've got it. Not that the East doesn't do it too, but I'm saying the West is big about exploring the external world, and it's necessary. And the East was originally about exploring the internal world, and of course it's necessary. And now, East and West, to call them that, isn't duality, it's same, one person, one being, having different spice. Polarities having now a dialogue, a dialectic. But the inner and the outer is one and the same. I like what the Buddha said, that you are a product of what you have thought. All of this is a product of what has been thought. There is no accident. People that believe in that have a very limited point of view. A very shallow and limited point of view of what they themselves are and what this actually is. We can be in a denial or not. I can fully say to anyone that, I can even admit that how could I not have been myself a bad demon, a bad devil at such a point of time ago? But now the opposite. What's to say for you and I? I'm just putting these ideas out there. Essentially, the authenticity of a person, the sincerity of a person should speak for itself. People can say, well, if I'm visited in the night, or even in the waking day for that matter, by an E.t. or an angel or this and that, a being that I perceive and surely seems to be, and probably is, higher level than me, with more power or more knowledge at least, or something, or catching me off guard and having something, having an area of power that I don't necessarily think I have. But let's just say you encounter a being like that and people say, well, how can you tell? Well, whether from the Bible, from Buddhist scriptures, from this, that, other, it doesn't matter where it's from. It's in here. That we can tell by bad words maybe, but vibration and aura of the entity speaking. Love is love. Sincerity should speak for itself. Love should speak for itself. if I see a very cold person, and I've seen them all the time, when they try and be full of love or something like that, they really can't. It's like for them, well, no, they ultimately can. They ultimately will become that. They'll grow into that. But for them, it's hard to sincerely sell it, as it were, because they don't have the authenticity. They haven't had enough time to concentrate on becoming that, maybe. Put it that way. I see a lot of people on YouTube writing comments to other people's videos, and they're actually, and you can't really say, oh well, I'm surprised to see that. It's an isness, but the nastiness, the lack of diplomacy, the short, mean words, the curses, the bringing down, the bringing down, the bringing down, the bringing down. I'm going to dislike your video. Some people dislike videos just because they can. I don't care if someone dislikes my video. To me, it's like, well, you're with me or not. I'm in one such mode of understanding and emotional level of appreciation. Someone feels it or doesn't feel it. To speak of myself, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I personally do not ever feel like going to someone else's zone or something and putting negativity. Why should I do that? I wanted to close with this thought that I was having just before I started the video, and I was thinking, although we all do it, and although we all say we should have the right to or not, or do it or not, or consciously or not, but, excuse me, which one of us actually has the right to judge anyone? We don't. We can, for ourselves, say an action is this or that. And perhaps there is such a thing as calling good good and evil evil, meaning creating harmony and promoting something, friendly or not, if you want to put it that way. And so, if we are promoting and embracing this love, this light, this uplifting nature, this calm. I love that Lao Tzu quote, the whole universe surrenders to the calm mind. It does. If someone's screaming and and then the reply is zen and calm, it gives hope. Hope is stronger than fear. Love is a greater power. When an entity comes and presents itself as something that it is not, you're going to feel the fear of them, the intention of them. They're either loving and helpful or they're not. Love is free. It's not about a gift. It's more about saying, well, if you want to stop the pain, the recycled pain you're living in, if you tried that, maybe you get out, but you got to choose it. And you got to choose it, what works for you. So, if a being wants to be a certain way or present itself as a certain way, you can just, if a being is negative and saying, I am God and I am this and that, like, look, even in these secret cults, and it's amazing the depth, because it shocks you at first, you're like, I can't believe that it's actually politicians and persons of this and that that are literally satanic. Like, how did that ever happen? You know, it's insane, and they are in a mode of insanity in actuality. So be it, that's the trip that they're on. It doesn't last forever. As one person said it, their end, which will be their new beginning of waking up from a weird dream that they're having, will be humiliating and awkward and embarrassing. But we just say we didn't go through that too. So there's always that. So to a dark entity, I would say at this point, well, for all you pretend to be, even if you're stronger than me, even if you have more power, even if you could split my soul in two, well, guess what? The hope in my heart is still higher than what you are and what you promise. The love in me that I desire to attain and keep is bigger than your promise. Unless they speak of love and this great calm and rest within love and hope, they didn't have it. Their message is less than it, and it's false. The real religion of the world is only one. It's not this and that. To me, personally, Christ and Buddha are the same. To me, the devil was the necessary adversary to go through this. It's like, for me, when I tell myself that, I wrote it to a friend recently, and I was, what is my exact words? I said to this effect, that unless we tasted this hell, we wouldn't have really appreciated the heaven and really wanted to desire to keep it, truthfully. Because who could just get a heaven or nirvana like that? You'd have to go through the process of filtering and understanding why that is heaven and nirvana, as opposed to whatever else. And it certainly is. When people get inducted into these secret cults, you see they make a music video, and within the music video it's actually the singer, the dancer, is actually being initiated as such within that act. But it's a ritual taking place. Kids are exposed to this, it's ridiculous. And they're being inducted into Illumination or Freemasonry, but these are young little young little teenagers full of spite and anger. We're bad guys, hey, we can do this, hey, we can party, right? We're getting rewards for this, right? It's being the great whore. It's, I mean, all in all, our consciousness, our heart comes to realize that even that, let it be, may it be so. Because no one stays lost and wretched forever. Eventually there is calmness. The universe surrenders to the calm mind. How could it not be? I couldn't tell you how long it would take for someone to go from this to that. We're going to measure in human years. I'm sure that there are EBEs and angels and whatever beings we want to call them and whatever they might look like, who are good and who know more than us. They themselves would probably say, well, it's hard for even us to really tell you in time segments what it takes. Maybe they could study patterns that we didn't study yet or something, but maybe not. For each one it's different. We are all special and beautiful and divine. You have to remember it. But you can't be divine without being divine. If they see that what's happening in the world now with these secret dark cults and this and that they actually want to prolong the human life and marry man with machine, that's an abomination. Why would you want to prolong the state of wretchedness? My wife was brilliant last night. She said this. I love how simple she put it. Bless her. She said, the physical world is a manifestation of the opinion of evil. I loved it. I said, poof, summarized pointedly and perfectly. In the physical or lower density vibration, that is where evil exists. It doesn't vibrate higher. It's like the famous picture of the chameleon trapped in the multi-dimensional cube. You may even be the master of that planet, but you stuck yourself in that planet. The dark persons, even if they wanted to do a space travel and this and that, they're still addicted too much to the conflict, therefore attach themselves to the 3D reality. Even if they have seances and chit-chats with this beings of different dimensions, they themselves can't really get out. And those dark beings that they talk to, they're talking to physical beings because they're jealous of it. A dark being that goes into a body goes, this is the greatest thing in sliced bread. Now I can have sex and eat food and do this and do that, and I'll abuse people. Wonderful. Ha 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 ha. They're addicted to it. They think that the human form is the best thing since sliced bread. Well, you know, it's an expression obviously before sliced bread, but you know what I mean. Well, sliced bread is universal. But they think it's amazing. Whereas children of light who want to go back to that, they find these bodies embarrassing, heavy, annoying, cumbersome. I mean, it is what it is. It's our vehicle. But it seems like a stage down as opposed to a stage up. And that's the difference. Who in their right sanity would be envious of the human body, for example? It's ridiculous. Well, an animal. Hey, a dog looking at a human. Well, I'm a human. I'll be able to do that. Spiritual evolution is, of course, true. That's what I wanted to say. And I had seen a guy's video just today, and I said, yeah, you summarized it very well, my friend. And it is just that. The person that makes a speech, or who would be, which one of us is the teacher? Not one of us is the teacher. We are all the teacher. We are all the student. And the point is this. The real teacher, the would-be sage, is the one that says the message of hope. Love. Love and hope is the culmination. It's not fear. Even very well-known persons, I'm not going to name names and make fun of people, even very well-known persons, very well-known conspiracy theorists and speakers and those against the Illuminati, a lot of even those very, very, very famous figures are still addicted to fear and stupidity. I'm sorry to say it. Addicted to the idea of technology. What could being do with thing? Oh, what a fascinating... Imagine if we can time travel and go through black holes. Amazing. Even that, I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean to make fun of that or people that like that. It's interesting to me too. Please let me adjust what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying the recognition of being and the love of the being, of being, surpasses all of this. Unless those technologies and things had a purpose, it was all nonsensical anyway. Man with machines, addiction to things. I can be that thing. After a while you get bored of thing, I'll be honest with you. I had a mystical friend named Joseph in Ottawa. He said to me, "Oh, evil is so boring." I'm like, "Yeah, I got you there, I know exactly what you mean." But it's not to make fun of it. We have to go through all this stage. It is what it is. Anyways, the point is, we exist. We can't stop existing. Never mind the heavy, cumbersome body. Whether we believe in something or not, there's an isness. We're going to see it. The return of the Christ actually is twofold and has more to do with internal awakening. For behold, the kingdom of heaven is not there it is or there it is. It's within you. Christ himself said that. Love, peace, pacifism. The calm mind that controls everything with a word. Anyway, I could get into many subtopics and varieties, and there are always questions to anyone's video. Who can really cover all things in a short time, this and that, and who really has every answer to everything? Nobody does. I don't have it. Maybe somebody does. Where is he or she? I would like to meet him. Anyway, check out that Red Alt guy. He's awesome. We must, as my Afghani friend Hamid once said, "Brother, I do not respect a man of only one book." He used to be a Muslim and now he's more the agnostic type or whatever you call it. And it's true, if we just look at one thing and download, recycle, repeat information, do we get it? Are we smart? Do we know what we're talking about? What I like is to see a Christian and a Buddhist and a Muslim and whoever, when they can sit down and have a lovely talk and they get along. That happens all the time actually. When we surpass our programming that is no longer necessary. That's not even to say, oh, a dark being gave it to you, now they're manipulating you. What's not to say that we needed to go through it, that we did it to ourselves. That we weren't at a certain point in our soul's history that being that did it to someone else. We have to have a big perspective and a big allowance for possibilities. But the violence, the negativity, the scratching, the undiplomatic speeches we give to each other, or the control, fear, aggression sort of things, when that language is being spoken in whatever language or through whatever religion, that is the devil. When the hope and the love is there, the promise of the knowing that it's there, like what Thomas Aquinas said in his Summa Theologiae, funny old Latin work. But Thomas Aquinas said it well, you cannot hope for something that isn't attainable, otherwise the thought could never have come into you. The thought of your heart could not have been born there. Let's meditate on that. I think we're all going to get exactly what we want, whether for good or whether for bad, and see in the end what was right. Eternal isness. It's not a video in time and space, it's just we echo the reflections and the magnifications, the micro and macrocosms of the universe in our own individual. We will always be a small self within the great self, but how much do we want to agree with the great self that we all are of at whatever given supposed time? Anyways, I rambled and I don't know where else to go with the video for now. It's hard to say many things in a short time. Blessed be one love. I love everybody, and even as Redox said, Lucifer, I love you. Even a dark being, even a light being, even whoever. It's to say, I don't want to return an aggression for an aggression. Giving love to all is the way of freedom. I did a video on shadow people and demonic attacks and sleep paralysis. You can give it what name you want, old hags and humans. Jinn attacks, all cultures in all time. But the point is, the way to really beat those attacks is with love and with reaching out to them. I feel bad for you that you're like that and you want me to feel as afraid as you feel. You need a hug. Oh, I will love you. Watch what they do. Because Because at that point they have no choice but to accept your hug or go away. You just become that tender, that diplomatic, that in the now. I'm not going to hate Illuminati and point a finger and blame someone. I'm going to say, you're going to see what those actions get yourself into, in and of yourself. But you need to tell yourself. You see, the Illuminati, just to finish, I keep saying I want to finish, they don't want to feel any guilt. They want to be immortal as the state that they're in. I don't want to think of right and wrong. I don't want you to put a guilt trip on me. God damn the churches. And they're good at double crossings and infiltration and getting reverse psychologies on people and getting people to call what is good not good and what is not good good. They do it very well. We all do it. We lie to ourselves. They believe in the lie they made for themselves. But in the end, they need to realize for themselves, in and of their own selves, judging themselves for themselves, not a God judging me. No, no, no. Realize for yourself, in and of yourself, to yourself, that that is right or that is wrong. This brings about, by consequence, good reactions and things and such back to me, or brings nice things back to me. Realize it for yourself. Think of certain presidents who will go down, and just to give a very simple example, I'm a Canadian, but I'll just put a spotlight on the United States for a minute. Look at presidents who, how many of them are Freemasonic? What, all of them? I don't know. But think of some of them that you could think about, or never mind presidents, a so-called famous person in general. Who do you think of that you go, yeah, you have a fondness for them, and who do you go, ooh, thankfully that person's gone. I don't got to say anyone's name. You do it for yourself. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like attracts like also. Let's never forget that. Peace and love. More videos to come, and I'm humbled and always honored to hear from people, and I always like other people's videos as well. Sometimes you gotta tolerate people's nastiness, but it's a nastiness that's a reflection of what we're also potentially capable of doing too. So it is what it is. We can just try and be the calm mind, because that is the voice of echoing eternity of the hope and the love that we all really, even the bad, rebellious soul really wants approval and love. Deep down in the maze of their heart, that's what they're looking for. But they gotta realize it's not through nastiness that you're really gonna get that. Peace. God bless.